The poor waitress thought he was just a picky customer. Please rate this story from 1 to 10. Tell us where you are watching from, and share if you have a similar experience. Subscribe for new stories every day. Let's begin. Clara's feet were killing her. She had been on them for 11 hours straight. The Grand Imperial Hotel was hosting 3 events tonight. A wedding in the Gold Ballroom, a corporate dinner in the Silver Room, and some kind of investor meeting on the 20th floor. Clara carried a tray of empty champagne glasses toward the kitchen. Her lower back screamed with every step. She was 26 years old but felt 40. This job was destroying her body, but it paid better than anything else she could find. Margaret, the head supervisor, intercepted her in the hallway. Margaret was a stern woman in her 50s who ran the waitstaff like a military operation. She told Clara to cover the investor meeting upstairs. 2 servers had called in sick. They were desperate.
I've been here since 8 this morning.
Margaret didn't care about Clara's exhaustion. She said Clara would get overtime pay. Double time after midnight. Clara did the math quickly in her head. She needed the money desperately.
Fine, but I need a 10-minute break first.
Margaret agreed grudgingly. Clara went to the staff break room. She sat down and immediately regretted it. Standing up again would be torture. Her cheap shoes had rubbed blisters on both heels. Linda, her only real friend at the hotel, came in. Linda worked the front desk. She brought Clara a bottle of water and 2 aspirin. She sat down with a heavy sigh. Linda said she looked dead on her feet. Clara laughed bitterly. She told Linda she felt dead on her feet. But rent was due in 3 days. Her landlord had already threatened eviction once this month. Linda asked if Clara had heard back from any of the nursing schools. Clara had applied to 3 programs. Nursing was her dream. A way out of this endless cycle of poverty.
2 rejections. Still waiting on the 3rd.
Linda squeezed her hand sympathetically. She told Clara something would work out. It had to. Clara wanted to believe her. 10 minutes later, Clara was upstairs on the 20th floor. The penthouse suite had been converted into a private dining room. Crystal chandeliers. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. The kind of luxury Clara could only dream about. There were 8 guests. All men in expensive suits. They sat around a massive table covered with documents and laptops. The air smelled like cigars and money. Clara moved quietly around the room, refilling water glasses, bringing fresh bottles of wine, clearing plates between courses. She tried to be invisible. Rich people liked invisible servants. She noticed one man in particular. He sat at the head of the table, probably early 30s. Dark hair styled perfectly. Sharp jawline. Expensive watch that probably cost more than Clara made in a year. But he looked stressed. His tie was loosened. He kept checking his phone. His smile didn't reach his eyes. Clara learned from the conversation that his name was Damon. He was pitching some kind of tech investment. The other men were asking tough questions. Damon answered smoothly, but Clara could see tension in his shoulders. Around 9:30, there was a break. The investors went out to the balcony to smoke. Clara started clearing the table. Damon remained inside. He was texting furiously. His face had gone pale. Clara tried not to stare. It wasn't her business. But then Damon stood abruptly. His chair scraped loudly against the floor. He ran his hands through his hair. He looked like he might be sick. Clara moved toward the kitchen. But Damon suddenly turned and looked right at her. His eyes were wild. Desperate.
"Excuse me, Miss Inez."
Clara stopped. She turned slowly.
Yes, sir. Do you need something?
Damon walked toward her quickly. He glanced at the balcony where the investors were still talking. He lowered his voice.
"This is going to sound insane, but I need your help. Desperately."
Clara's guard went up immediately. Rich men who needed desperate help from waitresses. That never ended well.
I'm just here to serve drinks, sir.
I know this is crazy, but please just hear me out.
There was something genuine in his panic. Clara hesitated.
My fiancée was supposed to be here tonight. These investors, they only back family men, stable married guys. Traditional values and all that outdated nonsense.
Clara could see where this was going. She took a step back.
And let me guess. Your fiancée isn't here.
She just texted me. She's not coming. We had a fight this morning. She said she needed space.
Damon's voice cracked slightly.
These men are about to come back inside. They're going to ask where she is. They've already met her twice. If I tell them we broke up, the deal is dead.
That's not my problem.
Clara started to walk away. Damon caught her arm gently. She froze.
Please, I'll pay you. Name your price. Just pretend to be my wife for 2 hours. Sit at the table. Smile. Make small talk. That's it.
Clara pulled her arm free. She stared at him like he had lost his mind.
You want me to pretend to be your wife?
Fiancée, technically. But yes,
Are you insane?
probably. But I'm also desperate.
Clara looked at the balcony. The investors were finishing their cigars. They would be back any second.
This is crazy.
I'll give you $10,000.
Clara's breath caught. $10,000. That was more than she made in 6 months. That was rent for a year. That was nursing school application fees. That was a way out.
$10,000. For 2 hours.
Yes. I'll transfer it tonight. Cash, if you prefer.
Clara's mind raced. This was insane. Completely insane. But $10,000.
What would I have to do exactly?
Damon's face lit up with desperate hope.
Just sit with me. Hold my hand occasionally. Answer basic questions about yourself. Make it look natural.
They've met your real fiancée. They'll know I'm not her.
I'll say you're Sophia. You look similar enough. Same height. Same hair color. They only met her briefly. In dim lighting at a restaurant.
The balcony door started to open. Clara had seconds to decide. $10,000. Or walk away.
Fine. But if this goes wrong, it's on you.
Damon grabbed her hand and squeezed it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Clara.
Clara. Okay. From now on, you're Sophia. My fiancée. We've been together for 2 years. We met at a charity gala.
Clara's head spun. The investors were walking back inside. Damon pulled her to his side. His arm went around her waist. It felt strange and intimate. Victor, the lead investor, smiled when he saw them. He was a large man with silver hair and a booming voice. He said he was glad Sophia could finally join them. Clara forced herself to smile. Damon's grip on her waist tightened. She could feel him trembling slightly.
Sorry I'm late. Work ran long.
Victor asked what she did for work. Clara panicked for a split second, then remembered something Margaret had mentioned.
I'm an event coordinator for a nonprofit.
The lie came out smoothly. Victor seemed impressed. He launched into a story about his wife's charity work. Clara nodded and smiled in all the right places. They returned to the table. Damon pulled out a chair for Clara. She sat down feeling completely surreal. An hour ago she was serving these men. Now she was sitting among them. The meeting resumed. Damon presented financial projections. The investors asked questions. Clara sat quietly, trying to look natural. Occasionally Damon would reach over and touch her hand. Each time she had to resist flinching. This was an act. Just an act. But his hand was warm. His touch, surprisingly gentle. Richard, who was Damon's business partner, kept glancing at Clara. He looked confused. He had clearly met the real Sophia before. Clara's heart pounded. During another break, Richard approached her. He asked quietly if she was feeling all right. She looked different. Had she changed her hair? Clara thought fast.
New stylist. Disaster. Honestly. I'm still getting used to it.
Richard laughed and moved on. Crisis averted. Damon squeezed her hand under the table. Grateful. The evening dragged on. Clara's exhaustion was overwhelming. But the thought of $10,000 kept her going. She smiled. She nodded. She played the part. Around 11, the meeting finally wrapped up. Handshakes all around. Victor clapped Damon on the shoulder. He said the deal was looking good. They would finalize paperwork next week. The investors filed out. Suddenly, Clara and Damon were alone. The silence was deafening. Damon loosened his tie completely and collapsed into a chair.
Oh my God. We did it. We actually pulled it off.
Clara remained standing. Her professional mask still in place.
Great. Well, so about that payment.
Damon looked up at her. For the first time she saw him really see her. Not as a prop or a waitress, but as a person.
Right. Of course. Do you have a bank account I can transfer it to?
Cash would be better.
Damon pulled out his phone. He made a call. He told someone to bring $10,000 in cash to the penthouse suite. Immediately. He hung up and looked at Clara.
It'll be here in 20 minutes. Do you want to sit down? You look exhausted.
Clara's legs were shaking. She sat down across from him. They stared at each other.
Thank you. Seriously. You saved my life tonight.
I'm just glad it's over.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Why did you agree? 10,000 is a lot of money. But this was risky for you.
Clara considered lying. Then decided honesty didn't matter. She would never see this man again.
I need the money. I work 2 jobs. Barely make rent. I want to go to nursing school, but can't afford applications. $10,000 changes everything.
Damon looked at her differently now. Something like respect in his eyes.
Nursing school. That's impressive.
It's just a dream right now.
Dreams are important.
They fell into silence again. Clara noticed details about him she had missed before. Small scar above his left eyebrow. The way he fidgeted with his wash. Tired lines around his eyes.
Can I ask another question?
You're full of questions tonight.
What's your real name?
Clara smiled slightly.
I told you. Clara Leonon.
Pretty name.
Thank you.
Damon stood and walked to the window. He looked out at the glittering city below.
This whole thing is a mess. Sophia and I. We weren't right for each other. I knew it. She knew it.
Clara didn't know what to say. This felt too personal. Too real.
She wanted the lifestyle. The money. The status. She didn't actually want me.
He laughed bitterly.
Tonight proved that. She bailed when I needed her. And I replaced her with a stranger in 10 seconds. What does that say about us?
Maybe it says you were never really in love.
Damon turned to look at her.
No, we weren't.
Clara stood up. This conversation was getting too intimate. She needed to maintain boundaries.
I should probably go. Your money will be here soon.
Stay, please. Just until it arrives.
Something in his voice made her pause. Vulnerability. Loneliness. She recognized it. She felt it every day.
Okay.
They sat back down. This time on the same side of the table. Close but not touching.
Tell me about yourself. The real you. Not the event coordinator.
Clara hesitated. But something about this strange night made her honest.
I'm nobody special. Grew up in foster care. Bounced between homes. Aged out at 18. Been on my own ever since.
Damon listened without interrupting.
I work at this hotel. Serve drinks to people who don't see me. Live in a studio apartment with broken heat. Dream about a better life.
Her voice cracked slightly.
But mostly I just survive. One day at a time.
Damon reached over and took her hand. Not as part of the act, but as genuine comfort.
That makes you incredibly special. Most people born with nothing give up. You're still fighting.
Clara felt tears threaten. She pulled her hand away.
Don't do that.
Do what?
Be kind to me. This is a transaction. You're paying me to play a role. Let's not pretend it's anything else.
Damon looked hurt, but he nodded.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Clara felt bad immediately, but she couldn't afford to get confused. Rich men didn't actually care about women like her. This was temporary, fleeting. 20 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. A man in a dark suit entered with a briefcase. He handed it to Damon without a word, then left. Damon opened the briefcase. Inside were neat stacks of $100 bills. He counted out 10,000 and put it in a hotel envelope. He handed it to Clara.
As promised.
Clara took the envelope. It was heavier than she expected. More real.
Thank you.
She stood to leave. Damon stood too. They faced each other awkwardly.
Clara, I know you said this is just a transaction, but tonight meant something to me. You are real when everyone else is fake.
Clara's heart raced. She needed to leave. Now. Before she did something stupid.
Goodbye, Damon. Good luck with everything.
She turned toward the door. Damon's voice stopped her.
Wait. Can I at least have your number? In case...
In case what?
I don't know. In case I need an event coordinator.
He smiled slightly, trying to lighten the mood. Clara knew she should say no. But something made her hesitate.
I don't have a phone. Can't afford one right now.
Damon looked shocked, like he couldn't comprehend life without a phone. It reminded Clara of the gulf between them.
This was nice. But it's over now. We live in different worlds.
She left before he could respond. She took the service elevator down, clutching the envelope of money like a lifeline. In the staff break room, Clara counted the money 3 times. $10,000 exactly. Her hands shook. This changed everything. Linda came in and found her. She asked what was wrong. Clara couldn't speak. She just showed her the money. Linda's eyes went wide. She demanded to know what had happened. Clara told her the whole story. The fake wife act. The investors. The strange connection with Damon. Dottie. Linda listened with her mouth hanging open. Linda said this was like something from a movie. Clara agreed. It felt surreal. Like it had happened to someone else. Linda asked if Clara planned to see Damon again. Clara shook her head firmly. She said that chapter was closed. This was a one-time thing. But as Clara changed out of her uniform, she couldn't stop thinking about him. About his lonely eyes. His gentle touch. The way he had really listened to her. She pushed the thoughts away. Fairy tales didn't happen to girls like her. Clara took the bus home that night. She clutched her bag with the money inside. Paranoid someone would steal it. The city looked different through the bus window. Full of possibility instead of just obstacles. When she got to her tiny apartment, she hid the money in a shoebox under her bed. She sat on the floor staring at it. Enough for rent. Enough for food. Enough for nursing school applications. Enough to finally breathe. But she felt hollow. Empty. The night had been strange and surreal. And now, it was over. She was back to reality. Clara didn't sleep that night. She kept replaying every moment. Damon's desperate face. Sitting at that table, pretending to belong. The way her hand fit in his. His confession about his fake relationship. She told herself to forget it. To focus on the money and what it meant. But her treacherous heart kept returning to the penthouse suite. To a man she would never see again. 3 days later, Clara quit one of her jobs. She could afford to work just at the hotel now. She filled out nursing school applications. She paid her rent early for the first time ever. She moved through her days in a daze. Everything had changed. Nothing had changed. She was still alone. Still struggling. Just slightly less desperately. Linda kept asking if she missed Damon. Clara always said no. It was a lie. She thought about him constantly. Wondered if he thought about her. Wondered if the deal had gone through. 2 weeks after that night, Clara wasn't feeling well. She was nauseous every morning. Exhausted beyond reason. She told herself it was just stress. But the nausea got worse. Linda finally dragged her to a free clinic. They ran tests. When the doctor came back, Clara knew before he spoke. The doctor told her she was pregnant. About 6 weeks along. Clara's world tilted. She couldn't breathe. Pregnant. That was impossible. She and Damon hadn't. They had just. And then she remembered. After the money arrived, after she should have left, Damon had asked her to stay for one drink, to celebrate pulling off the act. Clara had agreed. One drink had turned into 3. Her exhaustion and the adrenaline and the champagne. Everything had blurred together. She remembered laughing at something he said. His hand on her face. The kiss that started soft and turned desperate. Stumbling to the bedroom. Clothes on the floor. His whispered name. She had left before dawn. Snuck out while he was sleeping. Convinced herself it was just a mistake. A one-night aberration. Something to forget. But now there was a baby. His baby. Growing inside her. Linda held her hand in the clinic. Asked what she would do. Clara didn't know. She was barely surviving alone. How could she raise a child? But even as panic overwhelmed her, she knew one thing. She couldn't tell Damon. He was from a different world. Rich and powerful. He had his business deal and his life. If she told him, he might try to take the baby. Or worse, offer her money to disappear. Treat their child like a problem to be solved. No. She would do this alone. Like she did everything else. Clara made a decision that day. She would have the baby. She would figure it out. She always did. Over the next months, Clara's body changed. Her small studio apartment felt smaller. She kept working as long as she could. Saved every penny. Margaret noticed the pregnancy. She was surprisingly kind about it. She asked if the father was involved. Clara said no. Margaret didn't push. Linda threw Clara a small baby shower. Just the two of them. Second-hand baby clothes and a used crib. It was modest, but it was something. Clara tried not to think about Damon. But the baby looked like him even in ultrasound pictures. Same strong jawline. She wondered if he ever thought about that night. If he remembered her at all. Clara gave birth on a cold January night. Labor was long and painful, and lonely. Linda was there holding her hand. But there was no father. No family. Just Clara and her determination. When they placed the baby in her arms, Clara's heart exploded. A girl. Perfect and tiny. With dark hair and eyes that would probably be blue. Damon's eyes. Clara named her Emma. It meant universal. Whole. Clara wanted her daughter to have everything she never did. Stability. Love. A real home. Those first months were brutal. Sleepless nights. Endless crying. Clara had no idea what she was doing. She was terrified constantly. But she loved Emma with a fierceness that shocked her. This tiny human was hers. Her family. Her purpose. Clara couldn't work at the hotel anymore. Childcare was impossible. She took online data entry jobs. They paid terribly, but she could do them from home. Money got tight again. The $10,000 was long gone. Spent on medical bills and baby supplies. Clara was back to counting pennies. Choosing between formula and rent. But she managed. Barely. Always barely. But enough. Emma grew. 6 months. 1 year. 18 months. Each milestone was bittersweet. Clara was so proud. But she was also exhausted and broke and alone. Sometimes late at night, Clara would look at Emma sleeping. She would see Damon in every feature. The shape of her nose. Her long fingers. The way she laughed. Clara wondered what Damon was doing. If his business deal had succeeded. If he was married now. If he ever thought about the waitress he had paid to be his wife for one night. She told herself it didn't matter. He was the past. Emma was the future. That was all that counted. But deep down, Clara knew the truth. She had never stopped thinking about him. About what might have been. About the impossible connection they had shared. Emma turned 2. Then 2.5. She was talking in full sentences now, asking endless questions, full of energy and joy. Clara's life had settled into a rhythm. Not comfortable, but manageable. She worked. She took care of Emma. She dreamed about someday having more. Nursing school was impossible now. That dream had died. But maybe Emma could go to college. Maybe Clara could give her daughter the opportunities she never had. Linda remained Clara's only real friend. She babysat when she could, brought hand-me-down clothes and toys, told Clara she was doing an amazing job. Clara didn't feel amazing. She felt like she was drowning. But she kept swimming. For Emma. Always for Emma. 3 years after that night, at the hotel, Clara's life had completely transformed. She was a mother now. That defined everything. Her whole world revolved around a 3-year-old with dark curls and bright blue eyes. The Grand Imperial Hotel felt like a different lifetime. Clara never went near it. Too many memories. Too much risk of running into someone who might recognize her. She built a small, quiet life. It wasn't the life she had imagined. But it was hers. And she had Emma. That made everything worthwhile. On a warm spring Saturday, Clara took Emma to the park. It was their weekend ritual. Emma loved the swings. She would beg to go higher and higher, fearless in a way Clara had never been. They spent the morning playing. Emma made friends with other children easily. Clara watched from a bench, tired but content. Around noon, Clara decided they should get ice cream. There was a small shop near the park. They walked hand in hand, Emma chattering about everything and nothing. The ice cream shop was crowded. Clara waited in line. Emma pressed against her leg, looking at all the flavors. She wanted strawberry. She always wanted strawberry. Clara felt someone staring at her. That prickling awareness on the back of her neck. She turned slightly. Her heart stopped. Across the shop stood Damon. He was with a man Clara didn't recognize. They were deep in conversation. But Damon's eyes had found her. Recognition flashed across his face. Shock. That. Then something else. His gaze dropped to Emma. Clara watched him do the math. Saw the exact moment he understood. Emma tugged on Clara's hand.
Mama, can we get ice cream now?
Clara's voice came out strangled.
Yes, baby. Just a minute.
She couldn't look away from Damon. He was walking toward her, moving through the crowd, his eyes never leaving Emma. Clara's fight or flight instinct kicked in. She grabbed Emma's hand.
Actually, sweetie, let's go to a different shop.
But it was too late. Damon was there, standing right in front of her. 3 years vanished in an instant.
Clara.
His voice was exactly as she remembered. Emma looked up at him curiously.
Who are you?
Damon's eyes filled with tears. He crouched down to Emma's level.
Hi there. What's your name?
Emma. I'm May.
Emma held up 3 fingers proudly. Damon looked at those tiny fingers, then up at Clara. His face was a mixture of shock and something that looked like betrayal.
She's mine, isn't she?
Clara couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. This was her worst nightmare. Other people in the shop were starting to stare. The man Damon had been with approached. He asked if everything was okay. Damon stood up. His jaw was tight. His hands clenched into fists.
We need to talk. Now.
Clara looked at Emma. Sweet, innocent Emma, who didn't understand any of this.
Not here. Not in front of her.
Then where? When? Because Clara, you have a lot of explaining to do.
His voice was hard. Angry. Angry. Nothing like the gentle man from that night. Clara felt like the walls were closing in. 3 years of secrets. 3 years of survival. All crashing down in an ice cream shop.
There's a coffee place across the street. Give me 10 minutes.
Damon looked like he wanted to argue, but he nodded. He looked at Emma one more time. His daughter. A stranger to him. Clara took Emma's hand and left the shop. She forgot about the ice cream. Forgot about everything except the panic rising in her chest. Outside, Emma asked who that man was. Why he looked so sad. Clara had no idea how to answer.
Just someone Mama used to know.
Is he nice?
Clara looked back at the shop. Through the window, she could see Damon. He was standing exactly where she left him, staring after her.
I don't know, baby. I really don't know.
Clara called Linda in a panic. She begged her to come pick up Emma. Linda arrived within 15 minutes. She took one look at Clara's face and asked no questions. She just scooped up Emma and promised to take her to the zoo. Emma was thrilled about the unexpected zoo trip. She waved goodbye to Clara happily, completely unaware that her world was about to change forever. Clara watched them drive away. Then she walked across the street to the coffee shop. Her legs felt like concrete. Each step took enormous effort. Damon was already there, sitting at a corner table. His expensive suit looked out of place in the casual neighborhood cafe. He saw her enter and stood immediately. Clara sat down across from him. They stared at each other in silence. 3 years of questions hung between them.
Is she mine?
His voice was quiet but fierce. Clara saw no point in lying.
Yes.
Damon's face crumpled. He put his head in his hands. His shoulders shook. Clara didn't know if he was crying or trying to control his anger.
3 years. You kept my daughter from me for 3 years.
I didn't keep her from you. You never knew she existed.
Because you never told me.
His voice rose. Other customers glanced over. Damon lowered his voice, but the anger remained.
How could you do that? How could you look at that little girl every day and not tell me?
Clara felt her own anger rising.
Tell you what exactly? Hey, remember that waitress you paid to pretend to be your wife? Well, we slept together, and now there's a baby. How was I supposed to find you?
I gave you my full name. Damon Rivers. I'm not exactly hard to find.
Clara hadn't known his last name that night. He had just been Damon. But she couldn't admit that without sounding worse.
And what would you have done if I had found you? Married me out of obligation. Paid me off. Demanded custody.
I would have been there. I would have been a father.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
They glared at each other. The waitress came over nervously. They both ordered coffee they wouldn't drink. When the waitress left, Damon's expression changed. The anger faded into something more vulnerable.
I have a daughter.
He said it like he was testing the words, trying to make them real.
What's she like? Besides what I saw today.
Clara's guard dropped slightly. Talking about Emma was easy. Natural.u.
She's amazing. Smart and funny and fearless. She loves strawberry ice cream and dinosaurs. She asks a million questions. She gives the best hugs.
Clara's voice softened with love.
She's the best thing that ever happened to me.
She looks like me.
Yes. She has your eyes. Your smile. Even some of your mannerisms.
Damon wiped his eyes.
I've missed 3 years. Her first steps. Her first words. Everything.
Guilt crashed over Clara. She had made this choice. She had deprived him of those moments. And deprived Emma of knowing her father.
I'm sorry. I thought I was doing the right thing.
The right thing.
His anger flared again.
The right thing would have been telling me. Giving me a choice. Not deciding unilaterally that I didn't deserve to know my own child.
You're right. I was wrong. But I was terrified.
Clara's voice broke.
I was 26 and pregnant and alone. You were this wealthy businessman from another world. I was afraid you would take her from me. That I wouldn't be enough.
You think I would have taken her away?
I didn't know what you would do. I still don't.
They sat in heavy silence. Their coffee arrived. Neither touched it.
What happens now?
I don't know.
I want to be part of her life. I want to know my daughter.
Okay, Una.
Okay. Just like that.
What choice do I have? You're her father. She deserves to know you.
Damon looked surprised, like he expected more resistance.
I could make this complicated. Get lawyers involved. Demand custody.
Clara's blood ran cold.
Please don't.
I'm not saying I will. I'm saying I could. But I don't want to fight with you, Clara. I want to figure this out. For Emma's sake.
Clara nodded slowly. Her hands shook around her coffee cup.
We need to go slow. Emma doesn't understand any of this. She's 3.
I know. I won't rush her.
And we need rules. Boundaries.
Whatever you need.
They talked for 2 hours, making a plan. Damon would meet Emma properly. They would introduce him as a friend first. Let Emma get comfortable. Then eventually tell her the truth. Clara gave Damon her phone number. She had finally gotten a cheap phone last year. Damon put it in his contacts immediately. Like he was afraid she would disappear again. Before they left, Damon asked one more question.
That night, did it mean anything to you?
Clara looked at him. At this man who was Emma's father, who she had thought about for 3 years.
Yes. It meant everything. That's why I ran.
Damon reached across the table. He took her hand.
I looked for you. After that night, I went back to the hotel. They said you had quit. No one knew where you went.
Clara's heart squeezed.
Why did you look for me?
Because I couldn't stop thinking about you. About your strength. Your honesty. The way you made me feel real.
He squeezed her hand.
I never married Sophia. We broke up 2 days after that night. I compared everyone to you. No one measured up.
Clara pulled her hand away. This was too much. Too overwhelming.
This can't be about us. It has to be about Emma.
I know. You're right. I just wanted you to know.
They stood to leave. Outside the coffee shop, they faced each other awkwardly.
When can I see her again?
Tomorrow. Come to the park at 10. I'll bring her.
I'll be there.
Damon looked like he wanted to hug her. Or kiss her. Or something. Instead, he just nodded and walked away. Clara watched him go. Then she called Linda and asked her to bring Emma home. She had no idea how to explain any of this to a 3-year-old. That night, Clara barely slept. She rehearsed different ways to introduce Damon. None of them felt right. Emma would have questions. Children always had questions. The next morning, Emma was excited about the park. She wore her favorite dinosaur shirt. Clara dressed carefully, trying not to look like she was trying. They arrived at the park at 9:45. Damon was already there. He sat on a bench looking nervous. He wore jeans and a casual shirt, trying to look approachable. Emma spotted the playground and ran ahead. Clara walked slowly toward Damon.
Hi.
Tight.
They stood side by side watching Emma climb. The silence felt heavy with everything unsaid.
I told her you're my friend. That you wanted to meet her. She's very social, so she'll probably talk your ear off.
I can't wait.
Emma came running back. She looked at Damon with curiosity.
Are you Mama's friend?
Yes. My name is Damon.
That's a funny name.
Damon laughed. It sounded forced.
What's your name?
Emma. I already told you yesterday. Don't you remember?
Emma looked at him suspiciously. Clara jumped in.
Damon remembers, sweetie? He just wanted to hear it again.
Emma accepted this. She grabbed Damon's hand.
Come push me on the swings.
Damon looked at Clara helplessly. She nodded. He let Emma drag him to the swings. Clara watched them. Damon pushed Emma gently. Too gently. Emma demanded he push higher. Damon looked terrified he would launch her into orbit. Clara had to hide her smile. Watching this powerful businessman intimidated by a 3-year-old. It was oddly endearing. After swings, Emma wanted to show Damon the slide. Then the monkey bars. Then her favorite tree. Damon followed dutifully, listening to her chatter, his face a mixture of wonder and overwhelm. They sat down for a snack. Clara had brought juice boxes and crackers. Emma climbed into Damon's lap naturally, like she had known him forever. Damon froze. His arms came around her carefully. Clara saw tears in his eyes. He blinked them away quickly.
kids?
Damon looked at Clara. She shook her head slightly. Not yet.
No, not yet.
You should get some. Kids are fun.
Damon laughed. A real laugh this time.
Maybe I will.
Emma finished her snack and ran back to play. Damon watched her go.
She's incredible.
She is.
You've done an amazing job raising her alone. I can't imagine how hard that was.
Clara felt tears threaten. She had waited 3 years for someone to acknowledge that.
It was hard, but she made it worth it.
They sat in comfortable silence, watching Emma play. For a moment Clara could almost imagine this was normal. A family spending Sunday morning at the park. But reality crashed back. They weren't a family. They were two strangers connected by one night and one child. Damon came back the next day. And the day after that. Within a week it was routine. He would show up at the park. Spend hours with Emma. She adored him already. Clara watched their bond grow with mixed feelings. She was happy Emma had a father, but she was also terrified. Damon had resources she didn't. Money and lawyers and power. One evening after Emma was asleep, Damon asked if they could talk. Clara made tea. They sat on her tiny couch in her cramped apartment. Damon looked around, taking in the peeling paint, the ancient appliances, the lack of space.
Clara, I want to help. Financially.
I'm not asking for money.
I know you're not. But Emma is my daughter. I want to support her. And you.
Clara's pride bristled.
We're fine.
Are you?
He gestured around the apartment.
This place is falling apart. Emma deserves better. You both do.
Don't insult my home.
I'm not insulting it. I'm stating facts. I have resources. Let me use them.
Clara stood up, pacing the small space.
If I take your money, what happens? Do you get more say in her life? More control?
No. Dopey. It's not about control.
Everything is about control with rich people.
Damon flinched, but he didn't argue.
I'm not trying to take her from you. I'm trying to take care of both of you.
I've been taking care of us just fine.
I can see that. But you don't have to do it alone anymore.
Clara felt her resolve cracking. She was so tired. Tired of struggling. Tired of choosing between rent and food. Tired of pretending everything was fine.
If I agree to help, we need a legal agreement. Something that protects both of us.
Done. I'll have my lawyer draw something up.
Clara nodded slowly. This was happening. Her carefully constructed independent life was changing. 2 weeks later, they signed custody papers. Damon got visitation rights. He would pay child support. Generous child support that made Clara's head spin. He also insisted on paying for a better apartment. Clara fought him on it. But she thought about Emma. About giving her daughter a safe, clean place to grow up. They moved to a 2-bedroom apartment in a better neighborhood. Emma was thrilled. She had her own room. Painted purple, at her request. Filled with new toys that Damon kept buying. Clara tried not to feel like she was losing control. Her daughter. Her life. Everything was changing so fast. But she couldn't deny that things were better. Emma was happy. She had a father who clearly loved her. Clara wasn't drowning anymore. Damon took Emma for his first overnight visit. Clara spent the entire night pacing. Unable to sleep without Emma in the next room. Damon brought her back the next morning. Emma was full of stories about their night. They had made pancakes. Well, Damon had tried to make pancakes. He had burned the first 3 batches. Emma thought it was hilarious. Clara smiled despite herself. Damon looked exhausted.
How do you do this every day? She has so much energy. She woke me up at 5:30.
Welcome to parenting.
Damon collapsed on her couch.
I have new respect for single parents. You're all superheroes.
Emma climbed on him and started jumping. Damon groaned but let her. Clara watched them. Her heart doing complicated things. 3 months into their new arrangement, Clara got sick. Really sick. The flu hit her hard. She couldn't get out of bed. Damon insisted on taking Emma for the week. Clara was too sick to argue. Linda checked on her daily. Brought soup and medicine. Clara hallucinated with fever. Strange dreams about the night she met Damon. About the choice she had made. About parallel lives where she had told him the truth from the start. When she finally recovered, Damon brought Emma home. He looked different somehow. More confident. More comfortable in his role as father. He had handled a week of solo parenting. Work and daycare pickups and bedtime routines. He had survived.
I think we need to talk about something.
Clara's guard went up immediately.
What?
This arrangement. Seeing Emma separately. Splitting her time. It's confusing for her.
Clara's heart pounded.
What are you saying?
I'm saying maybe we should try living together. For Emma's sake.
Clara stared at him.
You want to live together.
Not romantically. I'm not asking for that. But practically. We're both her parents. Why are we living separate lives?
Clara's mind raced. This was crazy. They barely knew each other.
I have a house. Plenty of space. Emma could have her own room. You could have your own room. We would be so parents under one roof.
That's insane.
Is it? Or is it practical?
Clara didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to say yes immediately. The other part screamed danger.
I need to think about it.
Of course. Take your time.
But Clara already knew her answer. She was just afraid to admit it. Living with Damon would mean giving up her independence completely. It would mean trusting him in ways that terrified her. But it would also mean Emma would have both parents. Stability. A real family. Linda told her to go for it. She said Clara was an idiot if she turned him down. He was clearly in love with both Clara and Emma.
He's not in love with me.
Linda rolled her eyes. Linda said only a blind person couldn't see how Damon looked at Clara. The man was obviously smitten. He just respected her boundaries. Clara wanted to believe it. But fear held her back. 2 weeks later, Clara said yes. They would try it. For 6 months. See how it went. Moving into Damon's house was surreal. It was huge. 5 bedrooms. A backyard with a swing set he had installed. Everything Emma could ever want. Clara felt like an imposter. Walking through rooms that cost more than she made in 10 years. Sleeping in a guest room bigger than her old apartment. But Emma loved it. She ran through the house laughing. Claimed the pink bedroom as hers immediately. Begged for a puppy. Damon and Clara fell into an awkward routine. They co-parented efficiently. Took turns with bedtime. Split morning duties. Coordinated schedules. But they were careful around each other. Polite. You. Distant. You. Like roommates instead of anything more. Richard, who was Damon's business partner, visited one evening. Emma was already asleep. Richard looked around the house. At the toys everywhere. At Clara making tea in the kitchen. Richard told Damon this was the happiest he had seen him in years. Fatherhood suited him. Damon agreed. He said Emma had changed his life. Richard asked about Clara. About their situation. Damon said it was complicated but good. Richard laughed. He said, complicated usually meant feelings were involved. Damon didn't deny it. One night, Emma had a nightmare. She came running into Clara's room crying. Clara held her, soothed her, but Emma wouldn't settle. Damon appeared in the doorway. He asked if everything was okay. Emma reached for him. Wanted both parents. They all ended up in Clara's bed. Emma between them. It felt natural. Right. Why? Like they were a real family. Clara looked across Emma's sleeping form at Damon. He was already looking at her. Something passed between them. Unspoken, but powerful. After that night, things shifted. They started having breakfast together. All 3 of them. Damon would make coffee. Terrible coffee, but the gesture counted. They started talking more. Really talking. About their days. Their hopes. Their fears. Clara told him about her childhood. The foster homes. The loneliness. Damon told her about pressure from his family. Expectations he never wanted. The emptiness of his life before Emma. They were becoming friends. Real friends. Co-parents who actually liked each other. But the attraction was still there. Simmering under the surface. Clara felt it every time Damon smiled at her. Every accidental touch. Every late-night conversation. She was falling for him. Again. Or maybe she had never stopped. Emma's 4th birthday arrived. Damon insisted on throwing a huge party. Clara tried to keep it small. They compromised on medium. 20 kids came. Emma's preschool class. Neighbors out. Linda brought her nieces. Margaret from the hotel even came. The party was chaos. Children running everywhere. Cake smashed into carpet. Presents piling up. But Emma was radiant. She blew out her candles surrounded by people who loved her. Both her parents beside her. That night after cleanup, Clara found Damon on the back porch. He was looking at stars. Thinking.
Thank you for today. She'll remember this forever.
I should thank you for giving me the chance to be her father, for trusting me.
Clara sat beside him. Their shoulders touched. Neither moved away.
I was so scared when you found us. I thought you would hate me.
I was angry, but I could never hate you.
He turned to look at her.
You gave me the greatest gift. You gave me Emma.
Clara felt tears on her cheeks.
I'm sorry I kept her from you. I'll always regret that.
We can't change the past, but we can build a future.
His hand found hers. Fingers intertwining. It felt like coming home.
What kind of future?
Whatever we want. We can keep things as they are. Co-parents. Friends.
He paused.
Or we could try for something more.
Clara's heart raced.
Damon. Dottie.
I'm not asking for an answer now. I just want you to know. That night 3 years ago, it wasn't just physical for me. I felt something real.
He squeezed her hand.
And these past months living with you, watching you with Emma, talking with you every day, those feelings have only gotten stronger.
I feel it too.
The admission hung in the air.
But I'm scared. What if we try and it doesn't work? What if we ruin what we have? What if Emma gets hurt?
All valid fears. But what if it does work? What if we could be a real family? Not just for Emma, but for us.
Clara wanted to believe. Wanted to take the leap. But fear held her back.
Can we go slow?
As slow as you need.
They sat there holding hands. Watching stars. Both afraid. Both hopeful. Both trying to figure out how to build something lasting. Weeks passed. Damon was true to his word. Slow and patient. Done. But the tension between them grew. They started small. Date nights after Emma was asleep. Watching movies on the couch. Sitting closer each time. Damon would reach for her hand. Clara would let him. Their fingers fitting together perfectly. One night, they were cleaning up after dinner. Emma was playing in the living room. Damon was washing dishes. Clara was drawing. It was domestic and normal. Everything Clara had never thought she could have. She felt overwhelmed with gratitude. Damon looked over at her.
What are you thinking about?
How much my life has changed. A year ago, I was barely surviving. Now I have all this.
She gestured around the kitchen. But she meant more than the house.
I have Emma. Nia. I have you. I have stability. It feels too good to be real.
It's real. I promise you it's real.
He dried his hands and turned to face her.
I love you, Clara.
The words hung in the air. Clara's breath caught.
I know it soon. I know we're still figuring this out. But I love you. Not just as Emma's mother, but as you. The woman who showed me what real strength looks like.
Clara set down the dish towel. Her hands shook.
I love you too. I think I've loved you since that first night. It terrified me.
Does it still terrify you?
Yes, but in a good way now.
Damon stepped closer. His hand cupped her face.
Can I kiss you?
Clara nodded, unable to speak. When their lips met, it felt like the world shifted. 3 years of wondering, of what-ifs, all crystallized into this moment. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, then deeper, more certain. Clara's hands fisted in his shirt. Damon pulled her closer. They broke apart, breathless, foreheads pressed together, both smiling.
Ew.
They turned to find Emma in the doorway. She was making a disgusted face, but her eyes were bright with curiosity.
Were you kissing?
Clara blushed. Damon laughed.
Yes. Is that okay?
Emma considered this seriously.
I guess so. But don't do it too much. It's gross.
She ran back to her toys. Crisis averted. Clara and Damon looked at each other and burst out laughing. That night after Emma was asleep, they talked for hours. About what came next. About their relationship. About telling Emma the truth. They decided to wait a few more months. Let their relationship solidify first. Then, they would sit Emma down. Explain that Damon wasn't just Mama's friend. He was her father. Clara was nervous about that conversation. But Damon assured her they would handle it together. Everything together from now on. 6 months later, Clara and Damon got married. Small ceremony in the backyard. Just close friends and Emma. Emma was the flower girl. She took her job very seriously. Threw petals with great concentration. When Clara walked down the makeshift aisle, Damon cried. Openly and unashamedly. She was beautiful in a simple white dress. But more than that, she was his wife, his partner, his family. They had told Emma the truth 2 weeks earlier. She had taken it surprisingly well. Asked a million questions, of course. But ultimately, she was just happy. Happy that Damon was staying forever. Happy that she had a real family. At the reception, Linda gave a toast. She talked about knowing Clara when she had nothing. Watching her struggle and survive. Seeing her become a mother. Then watching her find love. Linda said Clara deserved every bit of happiness. That if anyone had earned it, she had. There wasn't a dry eye at the table. That night, Clara and Damon stood on their back porch. Same spot where Damon had first said he loved her. Clara was still in her wedding dress. Damon had loosened his tie.
How does it feel to be Mrs. Rivers?
Surreal. Wonderful. Terrifying.
Sounds about right.
Clara leaned into him.
Sometimes I think about that night. 4 years ago. How desperate we both were. How it could have ended so differently.
But it didn't. It led us here.
Do you believe in fate?
I believe in second chances. I believe in love that refuses to give up. I believe we were supposed to find each other.
Clara turned in his arms.
I pretended to be your wife for one night. Now I get to be your wife forever.
Best deal I ever made.
He kissed her under the stars. Same stars that had witnessed their first conversation. Their first confession. Their first kiss. Inside they could hear Emma calling for them. Probably wanting water. Or another story. Or just attention. They pulled apart, smiling.
Duty calls.
Let's go. Together.
They walked inside hand in hand. Toward their daughter. Up. Toward their life. Toward a future they had built from one impossible night. 5 years later, Clara finally finished nursing school. Damon had insisted on paying for it. Had taken care of Emma while Clara studied. Had believed in her when she doubted herself. She got a job at the free clinic she had once dreamed of opening. Life had come full circle. From serving drinks to healing people. From poverty to abundance. From loneliness to family. Emma was 8 now. Smart and confident. She knew her story. Knew about the night her parents met. Thought it was the most romantic thing ever. Emma asked if she could have a little brother or sister. Clara and Damon exchanged glances. They had been talking about it. 3 months later, Clara discovered she was pregnant again. Damon cried just like he had with Emma, but this time with joy instead of shock. This time he would be there from the start. They had a son. They named him Henry. Emma was thrilled. She appointed herself his protector. Watching Damon with their son Clara felt complete. He was such a good father. Patient and loving and present. Everything she had hoped for. One evening, Clara stood in the doorway of the kids' room. Damon was reading to both of them. Emma on one side, Henry on the other, all three dark-haired and blue-eyed. Damon looked up and saw her watching. He smiled. That smile that still made her heart race. He mouthed the words, "I love you." Clara mouthed them back. Then she went to join them. Squeezed onto the bed. Her whole family together. Sometimes at night when the house was quiet, Clara thought about who she used to be. That scared, lonely waitress. Struggling to survive. Pretending to be someone else to make rent. She had come so far. Not just materially, but emotionally. She had learned to trust. To love. To let someone in. And Damon had transformed, too. From a businessman chasing deals to a man who knew what really mattered. Family. Not love. Love. Connection. Their journey hadn't been easy. They had fought. Struggled. Made mistakes. But they had chosen each other. Over and over again. On their 10th anniversary, Damon took Clara back to the Grand Imperial Hotel. He had rented the same penthouse suite. Arranged for Linda to watch the kids. Clara walked into that room and was flooded with memories. Standing there in her uniform. Damon's desperate face. Agreeing to the impossible.
10 years ago I asked you to pretend to be my wife. You saved my business deal. But more than that, you saved me.
He took her hands.
You showed me what real love looks like. What real strength looks like. You gave me Emma. You gave me Henry. You gave me a life worth living.
Clara felt tears streaming down her face.
You saved me too. I was drowning. Barely surviving. You threw me a lifeline.
She touched his face.
And you never let go. Even when I pushed you away. Even when it was hard. You never gave up on us.
Never.
They spent that night in the penthouse. Not as desperate strangers, but as husband and wife. As partners. As soulmates. In the morning, Clara woke wrapped in Damon's arms. Sunlight streamed through the windows. She thought about running away that first morning. Scared and confused. But this time she stayed. She turned in his arms and kissed him awake. He smiled sleepily.
Good morning, wife.
Good morning, husband.
They went home to their children. To their beautiful, chaotic life. To the family they had built from one night of pretending. Emma was making breakfast. Well, trying to. There was flour everywhere. Henry was covered in it. Linda had clearly given up supervising. Emma saw them and grinned.
Surprise! I made pancakes.
The pancakes were definitely burned. Just like Damon's first attempt years ago. Clara and Damon looked at each other and laughed. They sat down to breakfast together. Their imperfect, wonderful family. Eating burned pancakes and drinking orange juice. Telling stories and making memories. Clara looked around the table. At Damon helping Henry cut his pancake. At Emma chattering about school. At the life she had never dared to dream of. She had pretended to be his wife for one night. And somehow that pretending had become the most real thing in her life. Had become her truth. Her home. Her everything. Sometimes the best things in life come from the most unexpected places. From desperate decisions and impossible nights. From taking chances when every instinct screams to run. Clara had taken that chance. And it had given her the world. How did you enjoy today's story? Please leave a rating from 1 to 10. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you have a similar experience or personal story, feel free to share it in the comments. Your engagement greatly helps the growth and longevity of this channel. If you subscribe, you'll receive new stories every day. We hope today's episode brought richness to your day. Thank you for watching.